Hey, Jim Toscano here on the Monday Night Live Stream. How y'all doing? I have to get to the right screen. There we go. So, thanks for hanging with me tonight. There we go. Thanks for hanging with me tonight. That was a play along from my book, Filling in the Grooves, from this book, from Roger Street Friedman. And that's a really fun play along. Hopefully the mix was okay. Let me know in the chat because I don't know if the mix was good because I wasn't really hearing the track well. As always, I prepared and sound checked 3 seconds before I went live. Uh, so thanks for hanging. Hopefully the drums were sounding pretty clean. I'm actually going to talk about a little plugin that I've been using tonight, which would be helpful. So actually, I see a few people in the chat. So let me just say hello real quick, and that will help me to settle down and know what is going on. Because sometimes it's really hard to tell. I'm a little burnt out today. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. Pat Ross, what's happening? Hopefully the voice mic is not too loud. What's happening, Pat Ross? Bob Sears, what's doing, gentlemen? Lucia, hey, what's up? Lucia's saying hello to Bob and Pat. We got the Bob Ross combination name fiesta. Very cool. John Gill, what's happening, buddy? Oneonta, I know, man, you guys got slammed with some snow, right? We got a little less snow, I think, than you guys did. However, we had, for our area, we had our, a little bit thunderous on the bass drum. We had our fair share. For the city, we get pretty hammered because they plow us in, and that's not always fun. I'm doing good, Lucia. I hope you're doing well. I hope Aline is doing good. I've been a little quiet on the social media front. Just lots going on. So I apologize, but I think I've seen some very cute little posts from coming out of your family recently. Yeah, which has been really fun. And yeah, definitely plugins. I was going to talk about a little bit of tech tonight. I hope you guys are cool with like a pretty loose hang tonight because I definitely want to talk about a few things that are going on tech-wise, and I'm going to revisit the shuffle evolution tonight a little bit because that's what I was working on today. So one cool thing for me has been lately, I've been super busy doing tech coaching. I mean, tons of tech coaching, and I'm thankful. Believe me, I'm very thankful. The one thing that happens is I don't get on the drums as much, and that's rough for me. So I scheduled in a bunch of practice time this week, and today was like the first day where I sat down and hit the drums in a bit. And I will say that once again, like all this snow stuff, like chopping ice and throwing snow is not good for my hands. I think I did my mother's driveway in Brooklyn yesterday because I had to make room for people to be able to park in there, including my daughter. So I was like chopping up ice and throwing ice with this little shovel, and my hands are absolutely killing me today. So I think I'm going to start just hiring people to do it because, it's like I can't really afford to have my hands killing me. And this is the first winter, I have to say, well, it's the first winter we've had in a while. It hasn't really been a winter, has it, here on the East Coast? It's been kind of like, I don't know. Like last year, what we get 4 inches in total. So this year we've been getting slammed pretty good. So anyway, this is the first time I'm really feeling the effects of it, at least in a long time. Anyway, so John Gill, I check out this plugin, and this is for Logic or Studio One or Pro Tools, I think. But it's called Drum Shaper. It's a very cool little plugin, and I think my kick. You're right, Pat. My kick is a little hot in the mix. However, hear the attack on it. I had it set up this way for the Tony Thompson thing, by the way. So it's still on my template. So this plugin called Drum Shaper is sort of, you still have to do your EQ and your compression, but the Drum Shaper thing is 3 knobs, and it basically gives you a knob for sustain and a knob for attack, and then something called mojo, which is kind of like an ambiance thing. But it's, and then there's 3. I wish I could just share the screen. I don't think I can do that right now because I didn't set it up that way. But then there's 3 profiles, so you can grab smooth, classic, or one other one. There's like 3 profiles, 3 knobs. It's very, very simple, and you can dial in a great kick and snare sound, and then you put the other version of it on your bus. So like what I do is I bus all of my mics to an aux track, and I bus everything over there so that I can have just a full drum mix, right, to bring up and down. Hey, Don O'Keefe, what's happening? So I put the Drum Shaper on the bus, and there's 3 settings on the Drum Shaper. 1 is kick, 1 is snare, 1 is bus. Then, like I said, you have smooth, classic, and one other one I'm forgetting right now. And then you have the 3 knobs, which are attack, sustain, and mojo. So the mojo knob is kind of an interesting thing. Sometimes you have to turn off some mojo. I think there's too much mojo on the kick tonight. So, but anyway, it's a really cool plugin called Drum Shaper from the same company that makes Addictive Drums, the sample plugin. So, and OXN, I'm forgetting the name of the company, but look it up. Drum Shaper, made by Addictive Drums creators. So that's one way to find it. Cool. So good to see you guys all hanging in here tonight. I hope everybody's doing good. I know that, man, last week I had to not do the Thursday night live stream, which I will be doing this week. But last week I had to drive all the way out to the Hamptons to take care of something for my family. And so we did not do the live stream last week. But the book is shaping up. The Hand Technique Workshop book is getting close to that 100 pages that Lucia keeps poking me about. I think we're up near 80 pages. And so, you know, we'll definitely do some of that this week. And I'll try to get you guys out a new booklet. I am going to talk about a few little things that I've been practicing. And I think, you know, that's a good topic to talk about. And I also want to mention about new switchers coming out, which I just, you know, my sponsors, I feel very loyal to them. And Black Magic has been very, very good to me. And so Black Magic put out an 8-channel switcher. Now, it's called the 810 Mini Extreme. If you're not needing more than 4 sources, you know, it's not necessary. However, it's very cool that you can hook up any combination of 8 sources, but they also did some more bells and whistles on the new one, which is kind of fun. So anyway, so I made that announcement the other day, but I'm still bringing it up because I'm waiting patiently for my 810 Mini Extreme ISO, hopefully coming. And once I start testing it, you know, then I'll chat about it some more. The Drum Shaper plugin was the other one I wanted to talk about. And then I think there was one other little thing. Oh, so for you guys using 810 Minis and anybody that's having trouble with sync from audio devices and video devices, I have a few different workarounds that I've been working on, where you can bring audio in different ways. One of them is, you know, basically the way Dave Weckl was running it was running his audio in through a Zoom camera and bringing the audio through the camera through the HDMI in. You're gonna sync if you bring it in through the camera. So there's a few ways to do that. I've been testing like running audio through different devices into the switcher, Besides, you can just run your audio into the mic inputs on the switcher, and you can also run parallel, but it has to be, everything has to line up really well, like very fast computer processing. So everything gets there at the same time. If you're live streaming, Ethernet only, so that everything is lined up when it gets out there. So there's a lot of like little stipulations, but I've definitely been working on some things because I know some people have ran into some things with that. But, you know, listen, it's a work in progress, and I do have some cool solutions. If you caught the SEN thing on Friday, I was trying to get to that, but there was only, we only had about 50 minutes to talk before I had to teach. And, man, we were getting hammered. There was a lot of questions coming in very, very quickly. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to all the questions on the SEN Friday with myself, Joe Bergamini, and Don Famularo talking tech in the 21st century. Holy moly. Oh, wait, where's my glasses? I'll ask those couple of questions, and I'm going to talk some drums for a bit. Jim, can the Focusrite 18i20 software host the Drum Shaper plugin? So it has to go through a DAW. The Drum Shaper plugin goes through your DAW, like Logic, Pro Tools, you know, things like that. So, Chris, what's up, buddy? Chris Castillo, what's happening, man? Yeah. So, that's right. Yeah. So, you know, John, you're sending that through your DAW, and yeah. So Weckel's sending his audio in through the camera and then into the stream. He's done it different ways. You know, we experimented, he and I, with, you know, just sending it to the switcher directly. And then in the beginning, he was doing it through the back of the Q8. So there's XLRs on the back of the Q8. If you run your board or your interface into the back of the Q8 and you're using that as, even if it's your side cam or like your foot cam, it doesn't really matter. It'll bring the audio in with the video feed, and it'll tend to sync better. So that's one way. I've also experimented with bringing it through a Q2N. But, you know, and I'm using these Sony cams. I've not tried to bring it in through the Sony cam. I don't want to mess with the Sony cam at the moment, but I know if I get an adapter, I can probably pull it off. So let me do a little bit of drum talk, and then I'll pop back into some of these questions about this stuff. Yeah, man. Oh, I know. Well, look, it's also Dave Weckel's touch, right? And it's also his, you know, the way his rig is dialed in. So that is that. Yeah. So, all right, cool. So, I'm going to shoot back to the tech stuff in a minute, and I'm going to talk some, let me see if I can bring up the monitor split screen. Oh, yeah, look at that. I have it set up. I don't believe it. So, I was going to talk a little bit about the shuffle evolution. I know this is the beginning of it, and this is something I did, like, I think I did the shuffle evolution, the first one, I'm talking long time ago. Like a year ago, I was talking about this thing in the live stream, I mean. So, this is kind of overlapping just a pinch. I don't know if this is going to mess with anything, but all right. So, but I'm going to talk through a couple things because I've been adding a few things to this here document. And so just real quickly to like go over some hand things. So we had some positions, and there's a bunch of little positions that I talked about for this. So first of all, from a hand point of view, sort of using a down-up motion. You don't have to, but I like the lope in that and the shape of that. And so, you know, we talking about ghosting positions to build basically every groove on the planet. And the reason I've been thinking about this, by the way, lately, is Ash Sohn played on this Seal tune called Red Zone Killer off of 7. And he's basically playing the hand part, the hands, like sort of Rosanna hands, but he's playing just like kind of 1 and 3 It's like a little more simplified version of the groove. So he's got like the hand part going on, and it's so crisp. Oh my God, Ash is like so crisp. But he's playing basically this. So those ghost notes. And so I was going to talk about kind of, building up those ghost notes. And so part of that is in the Rosanna pattern, that little double snare hit. And basically, I started putting that into my shuffles because when I was studying at Drummers Collective, Marvin Smitty Smith had me working on this. So like as an ostinato, I was playing... So I'm playing very, very lightly on the snare right now, and then just a jazz ride pattern. Right, so... working on like bass drum independence, stuff like that, while I was playing that little thing. So that was a Marvin exercise. And so I was like, oh man, that's like a very cool thing for working on your shuffle. So if we go back to our ghosting positions real quick, I'm going to put in just the trip to work on getting that crisp, constant triplet feel. Remember, I always say, like when I refer to groove stuff, be the shaker. And if you are the shaker, you know how a shaker works is that when you throw it forward, you get an accent and you get some movement. But when you pull it back to get ready to throw it again, you get another movement because the beads are moving. So it's sort of this idea of constant motion, right? So I think of grooves that way. And so like when it comes to this this ghosting pattern, it's really funny, like my hi-hat is mic'd pretty loud in my headset, and so I'm putting different pressure with my foot and it's changing the pitch of the cymbals. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm going to do it. I'll keep pressing and releasing. Tell me if you hear the pitch change. But anyway, so back to the ghosting. So very, very lightly on the trip of the lit. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. So a little quicker. I don't know if you can hear me bending the cymbals. I'm usually playing with my heel, just a quarter notes behind this. See if I let the air in. But I'm just playing with my heel, so you don't really hear the... that's how the Purdy thing comes about, right? By letting in a little air. And that, that basis right there, that's a really important ghost note because I feel like it's that constant movement, right? So that's the first position to work on for that. And then the other thing you could do is just to like go through it if you're working on your shuffles. I know that I struggled with shuffles when I was younger, and really Kim Plainfield, when I studied with him, was like, busting my chops about like, dude, you gotta get your shuffles together, man. So let's put them on the downbeats. So this is like really, just another position to have in your possession, right? Just to have it together. So we have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 1, the 2. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. And then we can also put the lit 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. which I love the let shuffle. It's in the shuffle evolution. I know I'm not on the right page, guys. So I'm sure somebody's going like, hey, man, that's not the right page. I can't see, first of all, as you guys know, without my goggles. But anyway, so if we were to just play, let's say, 4 on the floor, the ride cymbal's going to have the shuffle pattern, and then I'll just work with the different ghost notes. And it's just a way to kind of get it, you know, in your hands and make it feel good. But going through those different ones, and it can totally change the feel of what you're doing. And I have to play a lot of shuffles in the projects that I've worked with, not lately, obviously, but so you know, this kind of thing, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So I'm just moving it around. Obviously, the other thing is this bass drum is mic'd up for the Tony Thompson thing still. So it's like pretty thunderous for I'm trying to like feather this 24-inch bass drum that's mic'd with a sub kick. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, but that let shuffle, which I love, right, so I'm not hitting any hard backbeats. I'm just working on ghost notes. Okay, so those are those 3 positions. Now, the other one, the one that I was talking about before with this, so we'll bring it over to the hi-hat. So instead of the jazz ride pattern, we'll put it into the shuffle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And again, you know, I'm keeping that hi-hat foot playing quarter notes. And I would say obviously work on this at a whole bunch of different tempos. So we get, you know, maybe take it down when you're first working on it. And again, you know, I'm keeping that same little pumping motion. Just keeps it easier to play. And I think it feels really good with those in-between notes. So before, what I was doing is I was putting in the 2 notes, and then right before the snare hit, 1, and then on the snare hit, 2. So this double is on the upbeat, right? So we have, well, we also have to work on the downbeat of the double on the snare. So that would be your backbeat 1. And I'm just going to play it ghosting right now, and then I'll start putting in more of an accent. But so you'd want to work on also 1 trip, 2 trip, 3 trip, 4 trip, besides the triplet, 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 right? So that's the one I'm speaking of where, you know, you can really bring out the backbeat. So, and a double back, I like to refer to it as, or slap back, double back. Right? And that's in a ton of grooves. So we work on that one. So right now I'm playing the one accent on the trip, 1 triplet, and then two triplet, three triplet, four triplet, one triplet, two triplet, three triplet, four triplet. And in this shuffle evolution, I mean, that's like a basis for a ton of these grooves that are in here. So, you know, all the Picaro shuffles, right? Let me see if I can swing this a little bit. So here's that slap back, double back that I was talking about, right? By the way, when you're doing it, you don't have to really play that second note. Let the stick rebound. Right, so stay relaxed, let the stick do the work for you. And so you can see on the next line of this thing, that's where I have that one trip, two trip, trip, two trip, trip, two trip. So we're keeping all the trips in there. So that doesn't go away, and we're just adding the backbeat. You can think of it like that. Right, so that is the basis for a whole bunch of grooves, right? And again, it's just getting that smoothness with the hands, and I like to work on this. Before I get into the upbeat one that we were talking about before, just since I have it right here, this has like the quarter note triplet thing, which you hear this in Reelin' in the Years, but this is sort of one trip, two triplet, three triplet, four triplet, one triplet, two triplet, three triplet, four triplet, one triplet, two triplet. And I'm playing tap up and then a downstroke. Tap up, tap, right? So it's, up, down, tap, up, down, tap, up, down, tap, down, tap. It's a three-note pump kind of just spread out, right? One. Right, so Reelin' in the Years, right, so we have that little with Jim Hodder on drums, right? Jim Hodder played on that Reelin' in the Years tune. Okay, so cool. So we have, you know, those couple of different positions, and you know, it could be either on a full-time shuffle or a half-time shuffle, right? And that's kind of where this whole thing comes in. And this is stuff I've talked about this before, but I like to just go through it and review it as we're leading up to the kind of the new ideas. And so if we took that same idea and went to the halftime shuffle, well, we're just going to be playing one triplet, two triplet, three triplet, four triplet, one triplet, two triplet, three triplet, four triplet, right? So we do that slap back on three. All the trips are represented. We have to represent all of the trips. Right, so that's, you know, for the halftime shuffle, that's where that hand position comes in. It's basically like tap, up, down, tap, up, tap, one, tap, tap, it's an tap, up, down, tap, tap, up, down, tap, tap, up, down, tap. So it's kind of this three-note pump with the slapback, right? I'm letting that air in now. See, I'm still playing with my heel all the time. But you don't hear the effects of it until you start scooping it up just a little bit more. And there's different degrees from which you could do that, right? I mean, you could. But I feel like it's way more subtle, like the way Purdy did it. It's got a little air going in, right? So anyway, so that's sort of where that's at with these various ghosting patterns. And then I'm going to talk about the double one again. I'm just going to check in with the chat. I see Mr. Yerkins is in the chat. Holy moly. How are you, Brian? Do you still live in Staten Island? What is happening? Thought you were going down south. That would be smart. I may follow you. I may follow you if you wind up doing that. Bart Robley, what's happening, man? Welcome, Bart. Nice to have you in here, man. Definitely a pleasure. So, the trips and lets are always well represented. I'm feeling some anxiety for the uhs. Yeah. Well, you know, the uhs are sad. Trips and lets. You know, I just want to talk just real quickly. I was having this discussion the other day with somebody. We were talking about how different guys count. And Bob. So, you know, I count 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Oh, it wasn't Bob. I know who it was. It was Dan Andre. And you know, my feeling is count triplets: 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. It's easier to say 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. I don't like these two counts, and I'll tell you. I mean, listen, everybody's got their way. Bruce Becker, I love Bruce. He's a nice guy. But he says 1 Anley. Oh, man. If one of my students was saying 1 Anley, I think I'd have to, like, hang up on them. And the call. It's like 1 Anley. That's painful. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So anyway, I really like the triplet count. And I don't like the 1 enda count. 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda. Da 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 da. It's hard to say. I like the 1 triplet count. I think it's easier to say. Anyway, that's just my take. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Don't say 1 Anley. If you say 1 Anley, I will push you into some bushes. Plus, it sounds like 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. All right. So anyway, yeah, exactly. Lucia goes, what? Why would you count like that? How do you count like that? I don't know, Lucia. It's very sad and scary. All right. So, and as you guys know, I have my method for counting quintuplets, which I'm extremely proud of. Those of you guys that study with me know this or have seen my live stream on quintuplets, but I count quintuplets 1 E and a la, 1 E and a la, 2 E and a la, 3 E and a la, 4 E and a la 1. Because nobody counts any of the fun groupings. They just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which doesn't make sense because you can't mark time with that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unless you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 2, 3. That's ridiculous. So 1 Eandala is such a beautiful thing. 1 Eandala, 2 Eandala, 3 Eandala, 4 Eandala, 1. 1 Eandala, 2 Eandala, 3 Eandala, 4 Eandala, 1. Right? Much easier to count. Anyway, back to triplets. All right, people, let's do it. All right, so this one. So you work on that, you get that guy up to speed, And then the combination that we'll use for the halftime shuffle is going to be one of those, then a single trip, and then a 3 trip. So it'll sound like this. So what I like about that is you get a lot more movement. So when I played Red Zone Killer kind of idea, so I like that. I like that movement. It feels good. I think it adds an extra shakerness to it. Shakerness? Is shakerness a real word? I don't know if that's a real word. No, 1 lolly, 2 lolly, or 1 tita, 2 tita. Stop it! Pat Ross, you're fired. You cannot say that. No lolly, no tita, no pizza. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. It's like if we were saying 1 eanda, 2 eanda, and we started like using all kinds of weird syllables for that, right? All right, so anyway, so now we have the sort of double hit, right? So, oh, and it's different depending on whether, I was like trying to find where I put this stuff. I am going to talk about the sneaky triplet. So where's my sneaky triplet? I think I missed it. It was back here. I was going to talk about the sneaky triplet for a reason. I'll come back to that. Where's my sneaky triplet? Here it is. So definitely 2 different ways to do it, whether it's a halftime shuffle or a full-time shuffle, we'll call it. Full-time shuffle. Are you doing a full-time shuffle or a halftime shuffle? So if we were doing full-time, it would be 1 triplet, 2 trip. So it's kind of that's where we get 3 in a row, and that's how that sneaky triplet thing comes into play. So the sneaky triplet is something that I would do in these kind of shuffles, like blues shuffles, right? And I would play the triplet 4 to the backbeat, or triplet 3. So this kind of thing. So that little dip up 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 up. So I'm basically playing tap up down, or sometimes tap up down tap, tap up down tap. Sometimes it's 5 in a row, sometimes just 3. Right, so it's that kind of thing. I'm sitting too high, I'm not getting my back beaten in here. So anyway, so that dot 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 dot, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So when we're working on if we're putting it into a regular right, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of movement in that, but I really love those extra notes that are in there, and it's sort of just you can sporadically kind of sprinkle them in. Sprinkle them in. You don't want to overuse this stuff, but at the same time, it does create some beautiful grooves. So anyway, so one way to work on that would be just isolating that one movement. Right, so working on that and getting it crisp. As I said, this stuff just takes patience and time in. And, I'm going to put in some time this week. I'm working on some ideas, and definitely going to put in some time. Pat says he always counted 1 triplet, 2 triplet. Excellent. Yeah. So... so let's just continue on one other little set of exercises. I was going to go on a tangent about displacement. You guys know I'm big fans of that kind of stuff, and I was working on some things today, and maybe I'll reveal them on the next live stream. By the way, I want to mention real quick, some live streams that are coming up. So we did the first Groove Masters series last week where we worked on the Tony Thompson stuff. And I'm going to do a lot of different drummers, but I'm doing some guys that I feel like I want to give attention to some grooves. And so we're doing James Gadson on March 15th. And the week before that, which I believe is the 8th, I'm having John Gill, Bobby Angeletta, and Janine from O Drum's Sake on the live stream as guests. So we have a guest spot coming up. The first week in March, which will be next week, is going to be a regular hang, drum content, fill content. It's probably going to be a little bit of this groove displacement stuff, but to see how my week goes, right? But we have those other 2 streams coming up, and there will be some Groove Masters things every month. There'll be at least one of those a month. Trying to have a guest once a month, and then, my drum stuff. Trying to get Giant Flying Turtles in here soon. Unfortunately, our engineer had COVID, and so the record is still not mixed. So he's getting better, though. So he's on the mend, and hopefully I'll have those guys in to talk about the new record, which I'm super proud of the drumming ideas that I played on that. And I'm proud of all the guys, and they're playing on that record. I think it's really interesting record from Giant Flying Turtles. It's definitely heavier, a little more progressive, and it's going to be super fun. And we'll definitely have that one coming up. So let me just talk about some other things to work on. So check this out. So we talked about some hand positions, and so far in the shuffle evolution, there's been a lot of attention given to hand positions, and so what I did was, and look, you could see as I'm passing through this thing, there's a lot of content, right? Lots and lots of stuff, lots of cool grooves. There's even some odd time shuffles. There's stuff that are from tunes that I've played, and there's some lesser known sort of broken shuffles that are coming through here. And then here's odd time shuffle. We got that 1 and 7, and where's my goggles? And then, so this is that kind of filling it up shuffle, right? With this. Oh, I didn't talk about that. So 3 notes in a row. So da 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 da, right? So, again, more hand stuff. But I wanted to bring attention to one idea tonight before I run out of time, as I always do. There's some bass drum ideas. Now here, the hi-hat foot. Okay, So here's some fun things to work on for the week. So, and I'm just going to isolate the hands, ride cymbal and snare drum, and actually just the ride cymbal and the hi-hat foot. Let's do that for now. That's the way these are written. And so we're using that down. And by the way, at the hi-hat, you saw me using sort of a down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. On the ride cymbal, I'm using a down, up finger motion, which is more of a sort of release over the first digit. And so it's more of a finger sort of out and in, push pull. So that's what I'm playing over there usually. But anyway, so we'll go through first putting the hi-hat on the downbeats. Very practical. So you work on that. That one's probably the easiest one. And then we're going to move it to the trip so we get this. I should have had my foot cam on tonight, which I don't, and I should have, but it's man, I'll have that together for next time. Let me see if I can do an overhead view. I don't know if that helps. So I'm actually playing heel down. Oh, that's the lit, sorry. The trip. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. And so that, working on that little pattern is such a great sounding thing, I think. I like it a lot. And so if you work on it, you know, you can use an X-hat or a ride. The other thing you could do is put it over on the hi-hat that you're playing, and that really makes you work on the preciseness of it. Notice I let it sound open and then I put more toe pressure. So you can work on it both ways. You get this. And I find if you really choke it up with the toe, you can kind of dial out the opening. It's a little challenging, for sure. I'm still working on it, that's for sure. So I really like that one. And here's one other one. And I'm like coming up on the hour, so if there's any questions on any of this stuff, let me know. Or the lit. 1, lit, 2, lit, 3, lit, 4, lit, 1, lit, 2, lit, 3, lit, 4. So what we could do is cycle through the 3 positions. So we'll go 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. I wouldn't suggest 1 bar of each, but I'm just showing you. You could do 4 bars of each, let's say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then go back around and work on those different positions for the hi-hat foot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the different positions for the hi-hat foot, I'm going to put it in there, and then XLN Audio. That's right, Bob. DS10 Drum Shaper. That's the one. I've been really digging that plugin. I'll tell you one thing that I like about that plugin is I feel like it's easy to dial it in. So for anybody that's having trouble getting their sounds really dialed in, it's a great, quick, man, you can just dial up whatever you're going for. Like for that Tony Thompson thing, I wanted more attack, and I put that real punchy staccato attack on top, and I think I achieved that with that drum shaper plugin. So, yeah, so I'm going to take the shuffle evolution now, the new stuff with the hi-hat foot, and then write in all the bass drum permutations, and then mixing and matching some of the hand permutations. So it's really less of a workbook, the shuffle evolution, or it was intended to be less of a workbook and more of highlighting various grooves, which I continue to do. I keep putting in more famous shuffles and stuff. But I also wanted to present some material in workbook form to work towards some of those grooves. So anyway, so that's kind of where it's at with the with that particular part of the booklet. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm actually about to wrap it up here. So, again, it goes by so fast, at least for me. I'm really happy to be playing drums for you guys tonight, especially because I've been so in the tech stuff lately. So I did set aside a bunch of time this week to do some shedding, which I really need. Yes. And no shoveling, hopefully, for a few days so my hands can sort of settle down. I am going to go snowboarding this week, one day. So, anyway, that's a secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. Shuffle on to dinner, Jim. That's a great idea. Yes, Bob, I'm going to go shuffle upstairs and grab some dinner. And thanks for hanging with me tonight for the Monday night live stream. I really appreciate you guys. You make it super fun for me, and this is why I do this. It's just about sharing, getting together, being together, and having this community of crazy drummers. And, we get to lean on each other through this time of COVID over the last year. It's been really nice to have us all come together like a crazy drum family. So I appreciate you guys, love you guys, and I'll see everybody on Thursday for the Hand Technique Workshop. Bring your pad and your sticks, and let's go bananas and play some routines. Have a great week, guys. I am going to roll the credits if I can find them. I'll roll the credits if I can find it. Thanks, all you guys. Talk to you guys later. Yeah. It's in here somewhere. Closing titles. There we go.